Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the tandem read / Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn live. We are going to be talking about these books.
Yeah.
I will just say, how ridiculously floppy is my copy?
Mine is not.
No, I think so. I have a ridiculous amount of copies of this book. I have 2 hardback, 2 normally sprayed ones, and then 1 like pretty sprayed one. And I think this is the one from Australia because I got one in a book box that did a Tower of Dawn exclusive, and I think that's why it's so floppy.
Okay.
I don't know why I have so many copies, but we do. So
I just know they're not British because, generally speaking, our books aren't that floppy.
No. Hello. Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Hello. Agree. So this is going to be an interesting one because we both read them in tandem.
We did.
Which yeah, we have read them in tandem. This is the first time that you've read them, and when I was reading them, I was like, maybe it was a wrong thing to read them in tandem. And I'll go into that a bit later. However, question first: what did you rate them?
Is that a question? 5 stars for both of them.
Yeah, valid.
I mean, you got a lot of messages from me.
Sorry that we're talking slow, but I can't speed my speech up. I will fully stutter.
I was tripping over my words earlier. That you don't want that.
I will be as bad as Lisa's typos usually. I'm sorry I had to say it. I know that when I talk slow, I have weird stuff that I say. I don't want to try and...
What was it I said? I was keeping my car and my laptop.
Yeah, your car and your laptop.
So, I mean, that's where we're at.
There was something Becca said on Sprints yesterday that was very, very funny, and I can't remember what it was.
I was driving back up the road.
Lisa got 10 stars. Is this just one book or both books?
I mean, either is valid, to be fair.
Rice doll.
Fair.
But yeah, we are going to be talking about these ones. I'm going to try and talk about them as individual books as well, because we have some people who've not read them as a tandem, and I think because I've read both of them both ways, I think that it's going to be a I think I'll be able to talk about it. Also, sorry, the neighbours are yelling at each other again, so I'm getting a bit distracted. So I do apologise if I'm a bit all over the place.
That's okay.
Yep, the pause when you realised was hilarious. 4.5 for Tower, it's 5 to Empire. Okay. Yeah, I got a message saying 10 stars, 5 for Kaelin, Irene, and 5 for Nezrin and Sartak, and I was like, okay. We're not going to get into that just yet because Ashley became a Kale hater within this read through this time.
Oh no. I mean, my overall opinion is as long as he's not with my girl, he can just disappear with someone else.
We'll not go into that just yet because I have opinions.
That's fine.
So I don't have a lot of notes today because I just haven't. Tower of Dawn is to be fair, when I first read this, I did say that Tower of Dawn was my favorite book. So I understand it.
I really enjoyed Tower of Dawn.
I think it's a really good book.
I genuinely don't know, and I said this to somebody, and I can't remember if it was you, Smash, or if it was maybe Becca, that because I read them as tandem, I didn't feel like it was 2 books. Yes, it took me forever to get through because it was 1,300 plus pages.
Okay.
But because we see, like, Queen of Shadows had so many POVs, and because that was just the way that I've read Maas's writing for this universe, I don't know if that's why I enjoyed it so much, but also one of my favorite characters was back, and I was right when we did the short story one because I was like, this bugger better turn up back again later, and she did.
So first off, okay, I'm going to go into why I think that it was potentially a mistake for you to read the tandem read. I'm not saying that it was a mistake, but potentially.
Yeah.
So obviously this book came out before this book. So we those of us who bought them and read them as they were coming out, got this book, got to the end of this book, and then went, "What do you mean? What do you, what? No, no, you can't leave it there." And then we were told it'll be a year until Kingdom of Ash comes out, and then she hits us with this, and we're all like, "I will read it out of necessity because I need a Sarah J. Maas book." However, I don't. No, no.
Especially when the only chapter you get is Fireheart.
Well, it wasn't even that because I knew that it wasn't, but it was like, okay, cool. And then I read it and I was like, okay, I actually think that it is really, really important. And I said this to Becca when I was reading this. I think that the reveals in this are less shocking when you're reading them together, in the sense of Maeve, because
I messaged you at that point.
So how, and I'll explain why I think that it is a little bit less shocking, because when you're reading it in timeline order, you find out about Maeve, but you don't know what Maeve's done. So I think it's one of those things of you find out you know what she's done at the end of this book, and then you find out about her. Also, if anyone's here and hasn't read them, spoilers, obviously.
We haven't had anybody we don't know turn up in the comments, which is our usual. So.
For now. But you've read this, you know what she's done at the end of this book. You've cried your bloody eyes out, or if you may, you do. And then you go into this one and you find out that Maeve is Volg.
Yeah.
And you go, oh. Whereas obviously you find out what Maeve is and then you see that, and I think that takes away from the oh my god a little bit.
I still had a full-on freak out.
Oh no, I can imagine, but there was something that I think was potentially a little bit disconnect. Amazing. Yeah. The wait for this book was intense.
I almost think with tandem reading it, I didn't get this same oh my gods as you got. I got different oh my gods than you got.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I also think that there were certain bits of
also my first read through, so everything was oh my god.
Yeah, I also think that the tandem read, I think that it was sorry, I need a drink.
No,
I think that it was separated out a bit weird. There was a few things where obviously I know what's coming, so I'm like, no, you can't leave it there. I want to read the rest of it. and I think me knowing what information's there, I can't imagine how it was like for someone who hasn't read it to be like, no, I don't want to finish. Like, what do you mean this is where it's ending? I need to go on to the other. Oh, fuck.
It genuinely didn't bother me because any book that has multiple POVs, does that with me. Yeah.
I don't, like I said, I don't think it takes away some things. I'm really glad I've done it. Next time I read it, I will probably go back to reading them separately.
The hardest part for me was literally switching back and forth. And don't get me wrong, there were some chapters, especially when I did that like long 8-hour journey back and forth, that because I'd sent the picture to my work phone. I was listening to it on my phone, and then I was like lining them off. And when I saw it was only one chapter, I would listen to the extra chapter in one book. So it was like 2 sections and then 2 sections, and I did it that way. But if it was bigger sections, then I didn't do that. It was only if it was ones. But in general, next time I read it, I would probably do the 2 separate ones to see what that is like. So I've done both.
I did like it. I just think that, like, I don't know. I think, and I understand why the tandem read is there, and I understand in the sense of like this is what it could be. But I do think that you gain so much from this book and so much from this book that I just kind of, I think reading them, I would really, really love to find out what you thought if you ever read them separately.
If I do, I will let you know.
Yeah, because
I will at some point, but we all know how long it takes me to reread shit. So like it'll be down the line. But I genuinely like I obviously can't tell you what I would have felt if I'd read them separate because I don't know what that outcome would have been. But I genuinely no, I want to start Kingdom of Ash as soon as this is technically I can't start Kingdom of Ash as soon as this is done because I I have another book to finish. I can only do it with one hand because I got tea. But I didn't feel like I lost anything.
Yeah. So yeah, I've put pros and cons in my thing, and it is, I think that the flow of these two was good, and it was nice to see the weaving that this story had. I do feel like it kind of it brought like it rounded the story off a lot, and I do appreciate that. But I did say I don't know if I like the way things are revealed. Example, Maeve. But yeah,
I will say though, knowing that from this book, before I got to her in this book, made me even more anxious and nervous for it, which I wouldn't have been. So like it ramped up the nerves in different ways because I knew different things.
Yeah, see, when I first read it, like I was like, oh, and things happening, and then, oh, Maeve's there. Oh, oh, oh. And then I just cried.
Yeah, see, I was already trying to figure out what the hell could be the worst possible outcome. And I mean, I didn't get it right. I was nowhere near right. But like, I went in thinking, oh my God, this woman is here. She has this power. Like, I almost went, it wasn't I went in bad because I obviously was finding out as I went. And that was exactly what I was meant to do. But I literally was trying to figure out, I was like, it's fine. There's loads of them. They'll be fine. They're not fine, guys. They're really not fine.
What did you kind of guess was the outcome then? What did you think was going to happen?
I did think she was going to go, but I did not see like the box and everything. I definitely didn't. It's weird because the whole way through, every time the asshole sadist, whose name I can't remember, Karen, because I work for the company. I remembered the name. Every time we heard about him the whole way through, like we knew he was going to be an asshole, but I did not expect him to be the one that came out, and for him to like, yeah, I didn't picture the whipping coming in. I didn't picture all of that scene at the end.
I think we're just jumping into the end of that book because that ending is.
I just need to get it out there so that like the soul destroying part is just done.
I mean, we'll probably cycle back to it.
We will, but like the fact that it was just rehashing pretty much where she started. Yeah.
So as well, we get a lot of reveals, aka Ronan and Aelin being mates.
And being married. Not even just mates. Married. Just did that out of nowhere.
Well, I think that the mates was more shocking. Like, yes, the marriage was like this big reveal, but I feel as if the mates, like the fact that Maeve made him believe that he had a mate and then killed her off, and then was just like, oh yeah, no, it's fine because like you. And I was just like,
and what? Then made him go help her when just
and yeah. I think this is the thing. I think I don't know if it's because of how it is that it just there's too many reveals for the two books, maybe because it is two separate books, and maybe it's just a bit too overwhelming for that.
I think they all kind of end up about the same time when you're tandem reading them as well. Yeah. It's not like one's here. It doesn't like zigzag between the two a bit. It just goes bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, there were plenty of times when I didn't heads up for anybody else, Smash Brothers knows this, I got to the point where I couldn't message her succinctly enough that I just started sending pictures of the pages I was at, because stuff was like literally full page reveals, and I was like, I'm just at this bit, like I can't. And I know that obviously you can delete them afterwards, but like I literally was like, what the fuck's going on?
I mean, by the end of it, you didn't even send me things because you were just completely absorbed.
I was gone. I was gone. Yeah.
This live show, I do apologize, is going to be mostly vibes because I have 4 comments. 3 of them are names, and 1 is just Adian, our lovely bi warrior.
Because I fucking loved that statement. It was just, you know something, one of my favorite things ever, and it's almost like the where is my wife line. Like, I love shit when you find things out in such a way that you would do it in real life, where it's not this huge thing where they don't need to tell some random stranger, oh no, we'd be married on X date with X thing and X thing and X. Like, you wouldn't tell a person that in real life. Like, when you find out something that's just a passing snippet and it is gold.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite things, and it's, Andy obviously won't be here because the Mass isn't her thing, but if you get me and Andy and Co in a room on Friday, we were all together and we were trying to straighten Vicky's hair for the wedding on Saturday, and it took Bobby and Andy about an hour and a half to straighten it because there's so much of it. And I literally got up and went to go have a shower because Andy's shower is better than Vicky's. So I was like, Andy, while I'm at yours, I'm stealing it. And she was like, yeah, don't slip in the shower. Obviously. No, don't steal it. It's mine. I like it. That's what it was. Followed by me saying, I will leave you guys. I won't even try to straighten it, as in her hair, in case straight off the bat went, yeah, it wouldn't work anyway. Like, that kind of comments in passing are my favorite thing ever. And when it's in books, but it tells you so much about a character, it just makes me so happy. And finding out that Adian had been with men, but it was nothing that he was like shouting about. It was just a fact. Yeah. I literally stopped and I did the little, like, you know, the wiggle thing that I do. And I was like,
I also think it's great because like Maas doesn't ever demonize the gays.
Nope.
Like, obviously we had the 2 in Air of Fire.
Yeah.
We have our lovely bi warrior, as I've put it. And yeah, I adore.
That little line was just enough. It was just.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Adian a little bit because we might as well. So Adian has some great moments in this book, and he has some not so great moments in this book. Because by the end of it, you do kind of want to throttle him. Yeah. So he says some not nice things to Aelin. He fully turns around and says, like, where are our armies? Like, you don't have this, like this, that, and the other. And then, like, at the end, it's like, oh look, she had a plan.
And a whole continent, mate. Fuck off.
And you can tell the devastation in him, and it's like, I love Adian. I love everything that Adian stands for, and I do totally understand where he was coming from, and I totally agree that I think that he was 100% allowed to be angry in that moment. I do not think that, like, he did wrong by being angry.
No, I think she should have trusted them. Like, you can't have people be as high up in your supposed court that you're making, but not let them into the secrets. Okay, she's been on her own for a long ass time, and she doesn't want to let them down now that she's got people that she can trust and that trust her. But like, you're trying to get them to help lead your army. Like, they have to know that there's reinforcements incoming. Like, especially from people that they would never expect you to have contact with.
I saw a TikTok saying basically that it might have been something that someone sent me. I can't remember, but I saw it at some point. Where it was basically like she told Sam all her plans and it got him killed. So now she doesn't do it just so that she doesn't hurt anyone else. And I'm like, that's great, but sweetheart, just please lean on someone. You're going to break, and you like.
But she trusted Lysandra a little bit. Like, we did actually have a backup plan. But like, I'm not saying it's the best thing they could have come up with if they'd all like put their heads together.
I don't think that was the backup plan.
I have a feeling that was a backup plan.
No, I
Plan
don't even think. I think that she knew that something like that was going to happen.
Probably.
They basic like she knew. I mean, they say it. She was like, I've always known that I'm going to die. I'm not going to be able to
Yeah.
reign. The plan was for Lysandra to reign in my stead.
Yeah,
She
we had a
knew,
whole argument about the boys part in it.
and like she basically said like, I know what my end goal is. I know what I'm thinking. I mean, do I think that she thought that Maeve was gonna come out of here and think, I'm keep on pressing hide and it's not hiding you. Sorry, Beck. There we go. Um, do I think that she thought that Maeve was going to just like appear out of nowhere and like grab her? No, I don't think she did. But I think that she was prepared for anything bad. I think she knew that it was going to come to a bad end.
I mean, she's been literally fighting bad since she was tiny. Like, it's been one battle after another, whether she's had backup or not.
Oh, actually, this is the good segue. The flashbacks with Elena and knowing that Elena saved her life.
Yeah.
Mm. It kills me.
All of the flashbacks with Elena and her hubby made me want to. Like, I'm not a big crier. I did actually. I don't know when I cried, but I cried at some point. I don't know which book it was. I don't know if it was this one or the Fireheart part of this one. I don't know. It was some point. It wasn't like streaming tears like most, but it was teary. Okay, which for me in books is massive. But it was the part where we find out that she saved her from the stream, river, water of some equivalent, and I was like, she wasn't supposed to do that.
Yeah. And now she's never going to be with her ancestors, and it's like,
I'm kind of, it's hard because obviously she had the whole thing of, if you do this then somebody will pay down the line, and it's so much easier to say somebody that you don't know will pay for it than
it's
finding that you know the person that's doing it. And we all, like, you all know that, like, it's easier to put a no face on something than it is to put a face on it. And the
the
fact
whole
that she was here and she had to stick around and help them.
yeah, it's the whole like idea of if you've got two buttons in front of you and one says that you have to kill someone that you know or you kill someone that you don't know, it's easier to push that button because you don't know who they are and you don't think of the consequences, and it's interesting to see those consequences
It
appear.
reminded me a bit of, I don't know if any of you saw the movie with, I think it was Cameron Diaz. It was like The Box. It was like a box turned up on your doorstep, and like it was literally the same. Like, you kill someone that you know or you kill someone you don't, and it like goes through circle. And it was just creepy. I was like, no, thank you. I'm out.
But I think that's the thing, and I think I will say I do think that Elena. Don't get me wrong, and I know that Elena knows that she's foolish, but I think Elena was foolish to think that she would be able to escape it, in the
Yeah.
sense of like she knew it would be one of her lines. She knew it would be someone in her family, and she was just like, I was just desperate to think, and I was like, it's sad,
Yep.
but we have that. But we also got to see one of your favorites. Nehemia came back for a little while.
The fact that I was not ready. Okay. The fact that she came back, I wasn't ready for. But then the fact that she came back and she was a scheming with Elena and actually physically knew the whole way before she even sat anywhere near her that she knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And she had to make it happen.
Yeah.
So that like the right outcome will happen in the future. And she was more than willing to sacrifice herself so that the future would be better. I was like, that was not okay.
Yeah.
I was so not okay.
I've been waiting for you to get to that bit since you were like, I love Nehemia. And I was like, she's going to get her heart shredded to pieces.
I don't even know if I messaged you at that point or if I'm trying to see if I did actually, or if I love that one of my comments to you, and it's totally irrelevant, is literally Lysandra's a badass. Whole comment.
Nothing else to respond to that.
Nope. And then I went on a huge ranty spree about Manon, which we will also come back to. But I'm trying to see if I did anything about when Nehemia was there. I don't know if I did. I think I literally just fell down a hole of reading too much.
Yeah. I think I remember you saying something like Nehemia, and that was it. But anyway,
holy crap, Nehemia!
Yeah,
that was my whole message. I did great on the updating. Just vibes. It's all vibes on this book.
I mean, that's what this live is going to be. Okay, so we talked about Adian, we've talked about Nehemia and Elena.
One of the first vibes of this book is the city getting ransacked and Manon.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't supposed to do that. No.
No. Okay, let's talk about the witches. So because there's a lot that happens with Manon. Like a lot. I will say, so don't get me wrong, I am not a Manon hater. Before anyone says anything. However, I once did do a read through of this entire series, just reading the Aelin and Rowan part of the book. Because there are some times when I just there are some times when I read these books that, don't get me wrong, I adore Manon and I love the 13 and I love everything. However, there are certain times where I just don't want to read that level of like craziness and I just want to read about my favorite ship.
I mean, that's fair.
And a couple of years ago I did literally just read all of the Aelin and Rowan scenes and I just skipped on the audiobook for everything else.
Fair, honestly fair.
I loved it. It was great. I started from Air of Fire. I didn't read Tower of Dawn. I went up to Kingdom of Ash. It was a great time. Don't fully recommend because you don't know what's really going on with the story, but it was great for vibes.
I mean, if you've already read it and you know what's going on, then at least that's something. But not maybe as a first time round.
No, I would not recommend.
Or even maybe a second time round. Also, Emma, I will fight you.
So Manon, yeah, so she goes and does things that she's not supposed to, and then you find out she a crock and queen.
She queen, man. I literally messaged you. I was like, what? Holy what? And then not only that, but her grandma's a fucking asshole. More than we knew she was an asshole already and had made her kill her sister.
And that she killed her parents.
And that she made her wear her sister's cape.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I was not okay. Okay? That was probably one of the, like, it's not even that far into this book. Like, I was not okay.
Yeah. I will say, I did get messages from Lisa and I basically had to like not spoil it because Lisa kept on messaging me going, I'm going to DNF it. And I was like, just keep reading because she was like, Manon's dead. I'm not going to continue reading. She's killed her off. I'm so angry. And I was like, okay, just maybe just give it like a little bit more. And I'm like, I really wanted to turn around and go, bitch, she's not dead.
She's got more chapters, bitch. Keep reading.
And I didn't because, you know, spoilers. And also I'm nice to friends most of the time. If I'm not nice, I'm sorry. I know you were. I was literally like, I legitimately thought you were going to DNF the book. And I was like, please don't. She's not gone.
Honestly, this level of furious happened to me when Manon's grandma said that Astrid was going to die. I was like fizzing. That was probably one of the parts that I was like, holy shit, I don't want to be in a tandem. But also, I think the POV changed anyway, so it wouldn't have helped. Like, the next POV wasn't Manon's anyway, so I wouldn't have got... Honestly, I was fuming. And then when she told them to run and she turned the sword on her grandmother, honestly, I was like... I think I actually jumped. I think that's the one that I said to you, I wish I'd had my camera on in sprints.
Yeah.
Because you would have seen me. I literally full on punched the air and everything. Like, I was... I have chill, okay?
Uh-huh.
Look, I did not have chill reading this book.
Yeah. Um, I think it's really, really interesting to see the turning point in these. And I also think it's really interesting to see at the back end of this book when the 13 come back.
Oh my god,
Um
the fact that he went to get them and she was waiting for him to come back to the ship and she thought he'd left. Oh, honestly, I was in mess.
and it's also the fact that like they turn around and she's like, well, you won't follow me because I'm Croc, and they were like, and I'm
Maybe,
like,
please.
I like they're incredible, and I think it's just such an interesting dynamic to have just all of the like most badass women, and I think like to also see like the complex parts of them as well. I think it's really, really cool to see, because like the 13, they all like, I want more from the 13, in the sense of I would love a prequel to the books where you see them just interacting with each other, and it's POVs from all of the 13,
Yeah, like one
because
short story each.
yeah,
200
and just
pages, 20
because
page stories, just go.
because
One
I
POV.
just feel as if you had that, like, because like Astrid, you get a lot from her perspective. You get that one who's the bookish one, and you know about the twins, but honestly, I can't really tell you anything about the rest of them. And I want to yeah. I want to like have this like prequel, especially like seeing what they were like at their darkest times, and also maybe to see like more of a what's happened in the
I mean, they're hundreds of years old. The stories they could tell. Like you could get one story from each POV covering 200, like 150 years or something, and like see them get closer and like shit that they've gone through that means they will follow her regardless of the fact that she isn't just
Sorry,
like.
Becca messaged me and I had to respond because it was spoilery. Um, but yeah, um, yeah, I want every single one of the backstories.
Also, Abraxos is the Buddhist boy. I agree with this. The fact that Abraxos took them to find them in the first place so that she would be safe, and then the fact that he left to go find the rest of the 13 and take them back.
Yeah,
Like, honestly, if anybody ever tells me he is not the goodest, bestest boy and is not like a proper pet that I could use as like a wreck in the future, I will be yelling at anybody.
why do you think that he is my animal companion for one of my Marvelathon prompts?
Yes.
Um, Speaking of animal companions, because we can talk about the Rook Riders. That was
They
really
were
fucking smooth. That was really fucking smooth of me there.
That was actually super smooth. Well done.
But yeah, so we have new things appearing, and we have the Rooks and such.
It was so cool. Having been a WoW player, I kept thinking of the Rooks and that, which is awesome. Yes, Sartak.
Thank
Also,
you.
having the what's the fuck their dad's called? Kagan?
Good
Card?
God.
Kagan. Yeah. The
Good God.
Kagan rather than like
Yeah, Pardon.
the king and queen, and like the fact that whenever they expand their region, they don't like go, oh no, you can't have your god. Your god now is one of us, and you can still do whatever you want. Like the fact that they just expanded and just like you were like, oh no, but we do these gods and we do these gods and we do that day.
I think that
It's a
it
bit
was
confusing.
great in the sense of I think that that is what Kale needed to see.
Yeah,
Because I think that like and Irene to some extent, because obviously we know what Irene's been through. Um and
she
it's
came
one of
back.
those, yeah. She did. But I think that they needed to see like what the world could be when not having a conqueror there.
Yeah,
Um and I think that it is really, really nice to see. Also, most of his children are dicks
they really are.
in the best possible way.
Yeah, it
Because
was
the princess,
interesting.
I hate her, but I also really fucking respect the petty bitchiness.
Yeah, they're very sibling, which is funny. And I mean, they're all siblings with like armies behind them, which is pretty much, World War One
Yeah.
reincarnated. But it was so good, and I loved the fact that Sartak's like, I'm just gonna go off with my rooks. You guys stay here.
Hilariously, and I mean this, I don't mean this as a pun, but it's going to come off as a pun. He is the most grounded of them, which is ironic because he's a rook rider and he
Yeah.
spends his time in the skies. So okay, let's transition to Tower of Dawn. I'm sorry, this is going to be quite back and forth for these two books. If you read, I'm sorry, mostly to Becca and to Lisa because they're the ones who read them. I keep saying straight, but I don't mean straight. I just mean like one after the other. So there is a little bit of like overlap because of how we read them. So I had a thought and it's completely gone out my head. Oh no.
That's what you get for apologizing for being straight.
I'm not straight though. We all know this.
I know, which is why you lose your thoughts for it. One of us are. At least.
Woo. I don't. Today's been weird.
See. But in all honesty, the Rook Riders and getting to go away, and also the fact that he literally came in and was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving," and then he was like, "Yeah, you're coming with me," and she's like, "When? Now." And he knew that she was going to say yes.
I love you guys. So we have right, let's try and kind of go to the plot of this one, I think. So Kale. Should we go into the controversial opinion that I'm now a Kale hater from this book?
Go for it.
Okay. So I've read this book and I do think this is one of my favorite books. Sorry, Becca. Because I think that this brings a lot to the world. It also expands the world. I love Irene. I loved Kale's journey. And I was reading it this time. And I don't know, I think it's potentially because I was doing the tandem read. However, there is a bit quite far into this book, and I did not write down the page number and I did not write down the specific thing. But I read it and it's practically at the end. He's walking with a cane. He's almost like fully walking. It's almost at the end of everything. He is having his emotional resolution and he is still blaming Aelin, and he is judging Aelin for shit that he does not know that she's doing. And he turns around and he goes, Aelin might have cost us this war because of her arrogance or something like that. And I was like, dude, you are here to have your emotional resolution and learn to be a proper nice person, and you're still shitting on her and judging her. And that one line made me completely disregard any of his character growth in this book. Because, and don't get me wrong, I still think that he does grow as a character. I still think that he becomes a better person, and I will admit that. And I love how his character grows, and I think his character is a fantastic one from when we started to Queen of Shadows to this.
Yeah.
Yes, great. But it was one of those things of, I think when I read that, my brain just went, he's never going to fully change. And I don't like the fact that I now know he is never going to fully change. And the fact that he just... I think it's also the fact that he kind of judges Irene, and don't get me wrong, she judges him back as well. But it's just this constant like back and forth of him judging people before he knows them and judging people when he knows them and just not really giving a shit about anything else other than his perceived ideals. And it just really rubbed me up the wrong way, because it was like, why should I root for someone who isn't going to root for his allies? So that was me becoming a Kale hater. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like a hater, but like I'm going to sit my tea now.
Fair. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Smash will tell you, I'm pretty sure I did anyway, I think I did, was messaging about Nesrin and Sartak. Like, I felt they were much better suited than Kale and Nesrin. Like, I would have been very annoyed if Kale...
I'm not saying that they haven't all been through a lot, and I totally appreciate that he's been through a lot, but I still think that you would have thought that by this point he had learned not to judge Aelin for what she's doing, because the amount of times he does and he is proved wrong, and the fact that he is supposed to be on her side now, I'm sorry, it's too little too late.
I think the issue is he is always very much on Dorian's side, not on Aelin's.
He's never on Aelin's.
No.
He's never on Aelin's.
He very much comes at everything as I am number 2 and Dorian is my priority, no one else.
Which granted, I totally appreciate and I totally respect your loyalty. But my thing is, he goes into everything and this. Because let's be real, like I never once turn around and say Aelin doesn't do bad things. Aelin is a shit. Aelin does so many bad things and has so many bad decisions, but she owns up to them and she turns around and says that she's wrong.
Yeah.
And I've said the reason I don't like Queen of Shadows as much as I like the rest of the other books is because neither of them can look from each other's perspective and they just argue that it is like each other's fault. And I'm I'm sorry, but she still she still does bad shit. Like, let's be real. Exactly this. And I think that's one of the things. Like, I do think that Kale gets better, and I do think that Kale has a lot of things. Sorry, Lisa, I know that he's one of your favorite characters, and I know that you were absolutely obsessed with him. And I do apologize if I'm getting a bit heated about this, but it did really annoy me, this book. And I think that's one of the things of like, I love his character growth. It is like, don't get me, I don't have to like a character to appreciate their character growth.
Yeah.
There's characters in other books that I think exactly the same. And I think if you've got character growth and you can write it this well, fantastic. Also, if you've got a character who can piss me off this much, absolutely amazing, because I'm very much the type of person who like appreciates when characters are written well enough that they evoke emotion no matter what emotion they are.
Yeah.
But it was this time, because every other time I've read it, I've forgiven him. And this time, reading it at the tandem read and seeing exactly what Aelin's done at the time that she's doing it, at the same time knowing what he's doing, that tandem read gave me better perspective of what was happening just there and then. And for him to then judge her because of stuff he doesn't understand really, really riled me up the wrong way.
She also did that in the last one when she was away training, trying to get better.
And let's be real. The only reason she was there was because of him. The only reason she was there was because he sent her away. So I am now officially in the Kale hater group. I appreciate your respect and your kind words. And also, if you enjoy him as a character and he is your favorite character, totally respect that, because like, reading is subjective, and I totally understand and will not invalidate your feelings about it. But I will talk about why I am a Kale hater. However, I do think the romance was very, very cute, and I do like Irene. I think Irene Towers is a very, very good match for him.
I think she will definitely not take his shit.
Oh, 100%. And I also think that it was really nice to see him and Nesrin realizing that they weren't like right for each other.
Yeah.
And them finding partners who were right for them.
I definitely think Sartak is a much better fit for her. And like, being a rook rider, I loved it. And there was a bit where he was trying to get her to ride like by herself, and she was like, no, I need to go back. And he was like, yeah, but they won't fly again if they don't have a rider. Like go. And then it just like evolved, and it was just great. Especially because obviously her family is now there. Like, as you get further on, and like obviously we find out that we don't know if her family survived, and then we find out that they're there. And the fact that they're there, and obviously you see the niece and nephew like trying to get the rooks, and it was just so cute. It was so fun.
That is one of the things that I love about this book is Nesrin's family, and seeing that like love and just absolute like honor about it. And also the fact that we get such a mundane thing from Nesrin, the fact that she can sing. And it's just very much like just this really cute random thing that it's like, oh yeah, she can shoot a bow with unbelievable accuracy, but also she's a great singer. And
Yeah.
it's just that little bit of like humanization, which I loved.
Know what one of my other favorite bits is, and I'm not going to remember the names, so I'm not even going to try find them. Sartak's Rook's sister,
Yeah,
and her
yeah,
betrothed.
yeah. And you were
Same thing.
before you even looked, I was like, I know what you're going to
Like,
talk about.
I think that's one of my things. Like, everybody kept telling me it's Kale's book, like it's not that great. But honestly, Kale played such a small part of this book for me. Like, I loved the women in this book. I loved Sartak. I loved the princes. I loved learning about the world. Like, I get why Kale is such a big part. And I think if I'd read it as a standalone book, Kale may have played more of a part in it.
Yeah.
But because of the way I read it, it was just a mashup of POVs like across the board for 1,300 pages. But finding out about the other continent, about the land, about the rooks, about this, about the like everything was just so like wide for me,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But the fact that they came to help at the end and it was because she set a date or like she agreed to go through with it. And honestly, I was in hysterics.
Yeah,
like,
it's great.
I loved it so much.
Speaking of the Rook Riders, I think this is a really, really good way to just appreciate how Miss Sarah J. Maas weaves in ends, because I do not think that there is a better woven tapestry than the Throne of Glass books. We have Irene, who came back. We have Falcon.
That's not where I thought you were going with weaving.
Well, no, like let me finish. We've got Irene, who came back. We've got Falcon, who is a random trade merchant that we saw in one of the Assassin's Blade books, and then suddenly he's also a shapeshifter, and suddenly he's related to Lysandra.
Dude, I'm an idiot.
Did you not catch that?
No, I did, but I've just thought that I didn't have a shifter book for next month, and I could. Oh no, I'm reading Kingdom of Ash next. It's okay. It won't be in my April TBR. That's why I didn't use it. Never mind. My brain went like totally.
I mean, we haven't set a date yet, but I wouldn't suggest reading it in April, because if we do this early, you're going to have to read like a 900-page book in like very, very little time.
It's literally in the next few days. No, my brain went, why did I not do that? And then I realized that it's because I'm reading it next. I'm not reading it in April. No. It's okay. My past Tori's better at this than I am. It's fine.
Anyway, but yeah, so we have that. We also have the Silent Assassins coming into Empire of Storms, and we also have Ansel of Briarwood, or Briarcliff, sorry. Briarcliff appearing. That many to be exact. We're in danger. So we have all of these tiny and actually we also have Rolf coming back. So we have Rolf, we have Irene, we have Falcon, we have Ansel, we have the Silent Assassins, and they all make appearances in these books.
Also, I think I definitely sent you a voice note, because in book 1 she is a redhead. And she was a redhead
in Queen of Shadows.
Yeah, sorry. I was like, there was a part where she was redhead and she was calling herself Ansel, and it was to tell Ansel where she was without getting, because she didn't know how to get to her. So it was telling her. Oh, honestly, I was like, this is amazing.
And the fact that Ansel knew that like she'd given her that extra couple of seconds, or that extra second, and I'm like, I adore these books. If you couldn't already tell, these books are my entire existence.
So you know where I thought you were going with weaving?
The Stygian spiders?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I thought you were going, because I'd mentioned the rooks, and then I was like, weaving, spiders.
No, I was like, because he is with the Rook Riders, because he is just like just chilling, and then he's like, oh yeah, I have a niece, and she apparently has the power, and I haven't seen her, and I'm like, she has family.
I can't deal. Honest to God, the end of this book, I mean, Smash got no messages from me. I was just dead.
I know.
But yeah, the Stygian spiders being from the Valgorm and not being from here,
yeah,
was just amazing. But also the fact that Falcon stayed hidden through that whole thing and managed to help them get away. And then the Rook Riders turned up, and it was just...
I'm sorry, there's a lot of bouncing, but I've also realised that we have not spoken about Alid and Lorcan, which are new POVs.
They
Well,
are.
Alid had like a little bit of POV in the previous book, but we have Alid and Lorcan, who are potentially some of my favourite characters.
The fact that Alid knew she was being followed and that Lorcan thought he was being really clever just amused me no end to start with. Like, it's just...
It's the fact that like he fully believes that her name is not Alid and that her name is Marion, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, and then someone says Alid Lorcan, and he's like, what? The bitch like screwed me over. What do you mean? And he had no idea.
Yeah. And the fact that they joined a circus.
Look,
like,
and
also there was only one bed, but they didn't use it. Sad.
I and the fact that like it isn't until he meets her that he yeah 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 and it's the fact that he kind of starts to question his love for Maeve. Oh, the ending of that book when he's like,
Maeve is just an asshole.
yes.
Like, she has so many nice, decent men attached to her through hatred and like everything wrong in the world.
Yep.
Like, the fact that she cuts their bonds badly, I'm just like...
I love him so much because he is such just like he is just the emo teenager in the corner. Like, I love him so much. Yeah. Yeah. I also think it's really interesting to see I love like, let's be real, we all know that I'm a Sarah J. Maas stan. I am trash for Maas. But I love the fact that we get another really strong independent female character, but also she has loads of weaknesses and she's strong in very different ways. Because we have Aelin, who was born with loads of magic. She's been trained as an assassin. She is the epitome of badass. We have Lysandra, who has her own like ways of getting like people to understand what she wants, and she has like a very, very different way of being able to manipulate people. But she's still a badass. You've got Nesrin. You've got Kaltain, I would say. You've got Eileen. You've got all of these really, really badass characters who are just impeccable. Nehemia. And then you get to Alid. Manon. How did I forget Manon? Jesus. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Manon is like the 13 are just the most badass characters. Yep. And then you get Alid, who should be, for all intents and purposes, weak as shit. She should not have the power she does, but she is one of the craftiest bitches in this book. And I like the fact that she has this immortal being just getting whiplash from the things that she is saying. And he just does not know what to do or where to look. And it's like, this bitch is dangerous and I fucking love her.
I love that he uses his magic to support her ankle, and that it's not until like he's knackered that it starts to waver and she knows. I love that all of our phones will have just gone off for that message from Andy.
Yep.
Every single one of us. But I totally did like them. But the fact that the other two are sent to kill Lorcan, Is that the right way around?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was the right way around. And they were just my brain's just gone blank on the names of the other two
Gabriel.
guys that were with them.
Gabriel. And I can't remember his name. Someone's going to get to it in the comments before we do.
Fenris and Lorcan?
Fenris. Well, no, we already have Lorcan. It's Fenris and Gabriel.
Yeah. I love that Rowan was basically like, you guys do not kill each other. If you do, there will be war and Aeland will kill you. Or some equivalent of that. And I was like, and I love that he did it in such a way that he was then like, does that work? Everyone good? Right, cool, let's go.
Do you know what it is? Do you know why I got caught up on this? Because I was thinking of Fenthras, which is a bow in Critical Role, like an actual weapon in Critical Role. So I was like, no, it's not that. That's a weapon. What am I doing? So I thought Fenris, and I was like, no, it's not that, because that's something in some book. And then I've realized what it is. It's Fenthras that I'm thinking of, which is a magical bow.
I mean, they would probably love to have that.
They can't have that. Anyway, sorry. Critical Role being in my head.
It's okay.
No one's surprised. No one's surprised. But yeah. So I'm trying to think of other things that we can talk about.
Adian's dad?
Oh yeah, well, we haven't spoken about that. So like I do kind of feel,
guys.
yeah, I do kind of feel bad for the way that is sprung upon him.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell they've been fighting together a long time.
So Gabriel, I do feel really, really bad because anytime that he is in this book looking at Adian, I just feel like you can just hear, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." And he's just looking like longingly through a window whilst like the water's pouring down, because he's just like desperate to be like, "Let me in." That is the vibe I get from Gabriel through this entire book, and I'm like, it's really sad.
Yeah, I do think it is very true that I love that they're like, no, you have to let him, realize this is happening, and then he'll come to you type thing. But it is sad because it's obviously happening to the dad as much as it's happening to him. It just sucks that they both had it like thrown on them, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to put this on Do Not Disturb because I keep on getting distracted by my phone. Yeah, I think it's obviously like we had the kind of the same thing from Adian finding out who his dad was in the previous book. Like he only found out in the previous book that like who his dad was, and he was like, oh, this is something. And I do feel bad for them because like there is this big war going on. And then something like, oh, by the way, like you have family. And they're like, whoa, this is something to process. And you don't have time to process it because we're fighting a fucking war. I love Gabriel. Like, I think he's one of the chillest of Maeve's little cabal.
Yeah, I really just need to get all of them away from her. Like, I do not like her at all.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think anybody likes Maeve, and if you do, are you okay?
I love her as a villain.
Yeah. Oh no, that's fair. But like, I definitely could not use her as your villain had a point. Like, she does not fit for that type of problem.
No.
Maybe like Rolf is the king of the pirates has a point. That's about as far as I'm willing to stretch that for this book.
I will go back to Rolf because one of my all-time favorite scenes in these books is Aelin coming in and just being a little shit
Yep.
and playing with the emeralds. And I don't know why, but that scene makes me just like such a fangirl.
I love that she like hid herself around the city so nobody knew she was there.
And just the fact that she just turns up and she's just sat in his chair, just like, yo bitch, I'm back. And then he pretending to be Selena and then flirts with Rowan. And Rowan's just like, I'm taken. And he's like, I want to take you. But he can't say that because it's not appropriate. But you can.
You can tell.
Speaking of, this is the first time that we can call this fairy smut.
It is
Fairy porn. This is we have officially got to the smutty part of Sarah J. Maas.
2 pages. Only because we're doing one a month.
I think what it is so Beach.
Yes.
So these books are mostly YA, and as these books were coming out, so was the ACOTAR series, and the ACOTAR series are much more smuttier. So a lot of people just assume that because ACOTAR is smutty, that Throne of Glass is smutty, and actually, it's not that smutty. It's until we get to this book where it starts to get a little bit smutty.
Dorian's definitely our smuttiest character out of the whole track, like out of everyone.
I will say, reading it this time, I was just like, poor Becca was sat next to me, and I was like,
so if I'm sitting in here doing audiobooks, I just put it through the TV and I sit here and I just listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And Richie came down at one point and I've never reached for my mouse to hit pause so quickly.
I can't wait for us to get to book 2 of Crescent City so I can talk about one of my most embarrassing moments.
It's okay. I will just use headphones. Like, they're sitting over there. They go, like, they're not even wired. I just have it in my head that they're for my PC, which is upstairs. It's not. My PC is literally here in pieces.
But yeah, I was reading that, and I just, like, I don't know why. Every other time I've read it, I was like, I've never thought about it. And I just went, and then I just looked at Becca and I was like, and she was like, are you all right? And I was like, uh-huh. I was not okay. Yeah, she knows the embarrassing moment. It's a very, very funny story, I must admit. But sorry, I'm eating chocolate now.
That's okay.
No,
my work chat, and I was like, "Do I need to look at this? Is this something urgent? It can wait." However, I do want chocolate now that you've mentioned it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. My bag of goodies is literally here because I bought too much shit when I was down your road.
So we have, like, I do think, like, I like the smut, but I don't think that it is anything to write home about, especially in this book.
Dorian and Manon are the only smutty bit in this book that I liked enough to think that it was good enough to talk about. And
like
more because of Sarah's situation.
The beach scene was pretty good.
Yeah.
I also really appreciate the consent conversation between Dorian and Manon.
Yes, 100%.
Also, I really love that the Playboy Prince is like, I have magic now. I'm going to use it sexily. It's like, dude.
I would have honestly been really upset if Dorian, who liked to get off as much as we know he did, or does, whichever way around you want to put it, before he was, dealt with the vulva, etc. I would have been really upset if now that he's free again and he has magic, he did not find some good ways to put that to use. I'm going to be completely honest. I would have been more upset if that had not happened.
I'm really sorry. Becca messaged me a while ago, but my phone was on Do Not Disturb, so I didn't get it through. Becca made a point of, like, Maeve wanting to overpower men, which is potentially why she has all of the good men under her thumb. And actually, good point. Well done, Becca.
She just needs to get in the bin. my overall statement on Maeve. Get in the bin. If only it was as easy as saying that.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think I actually don't think
Aelin.
I've got much more to say about these books.
What about Aelin?
I mean, we've talked about Ellen a little bit, but I mean,
Other than the end.
there's no notes on Ellen. Ellen is perfect. No, I'm joking. She's not perfect, but like.
What about, okay, the only other thing I will say about Aelin linked to
Mhm.
Manon and the two of them going into the mirror. That was really cool. Like, I know we spoke about the flashback, but like the fact that these two queens, who she is, we agree, these two queens who normally would not be seen dead together without them fighting, managed to put that all aside to actually get into the mirror to get the message and
Yeah.
have that whole thing while everybody else is busy fighting. And like keeping everything at bay was just awesome.
I also want to bring up the point where sorry, Becca, I know you don't like talking about this. The moment where Rowan wakes up and she's being sick. And there's the assumption there, and then you find out that it's because she knows exactly what's going to happen to her. Like, it hurts me. Because it's like, I just want her to be happy.
To start with, I was like, holy shit, man, that was fast. Like, Faye, man, do it well. And then I was like, oh, no, wait, yeah. This is not to deal with that. What about Adian and Lysandra?
We can talk about Adian. Oh, also, Lysandra's fucking turned into a sea dragon. That was
Lysandra's fucking awesome. The forms that she managed to evolve into in this book were incredible.
Oh, one thing we haven't talked about. That's at the start, and this is one of the issues with having so many pages in the tandem read. You don't actually get to separate questions and stuff like that. Incredible.
Ships, man.
One of the things that we haven't spoken about is the Council of Terracin, aka the bunch of dickbags.
Oh, fuck right off.
I appreciate that, like, she disappeared. She didn't do anything about it. And there were things that she could have done, and I do appreciate that, like, she made a name for herself, and there was a lot of things that, like, you know. However, that man is a dick. Ren is a dick. Yeah. Ren is a dick. All of the people who signed that paper is a dick. And the fact that she was like really, really cool and was like, turn all the lights out and made all of the fires go out and was like, this is what you're going to be left with. And he just lights a match and he's like, fuck you, bitch. And I was like, dude.
Also, we see Fleetfoot again. I just need to mention that we saw Fleetfoot again and she was safe.
Yeah. And she's gone off with the child. What's the child's name?
Lysandra and... Wow, my brain went Cassandra. That's really wrong. Evangeline.
And Evangeline, like, oh, the moment where Evangeline like leaves and Lysandra's just really, really sad.
Lysandra is like such a good mum. Like, I know she's not biologically a mum, but she is totally a mum.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's made a family for herself and is trying to do her absolute best to keep that girl safe, like, I have so many feelings. It's actually hard to put words into place.
I think this is one of the issues with having read both of these books for this live show. It does kind of, there's so much to talk about that you forget how much there is to talk about.
I'm just going to see if I wrote anything else down.
I didn't. If anyone else has anything that they want to contribute, please do, because yeah. I literally just unsubscribed from you.
I love that one of my messages to you was, holy shit, that bitch needs to die, about Manon's grandmother.
Yeah. I
Excited for Irene.
I don't think there's anything else really in it. I think we've talked about like the main things.
I think we had.
Oh, okay. Let's go back to Irene for a minute. The fact that she kept the slip of paper from Selena for so
And
long.
also the fact that by the end he reads the bit of paper and knows who wrote it, and then is like, "You're gonna want to keep this."
Yeah, like it just like I can't like yeah.
The fact that she then started to teach all of the healers. Oh, her wifey ahead of her. Nah, that's such a good statement, Tori. That is so not helpful.
It's done with a H.
This is where I literally just try and.
Orte is the name of his sister, his Rook sister.
Zahida?
Who?
So not as. Did I just look at the wrong name?
I'm sure it begins with a H. I could be completely wrong.
Asar Renia. Cashin. Hasar's the sister.
Hafiza.
Hafiza's the. Yeah, that's what I was on about.
Yeah. But I was saying about the Sartek's Rook sister is called Borte.
Borte. And then his actual sister is Hasar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This, yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
This whole book was just so good. Like, it took me a while to read, I will be honest, but also I've been doing budgets and shit at work. Like, my work reading has not like been even this last kind of month. And I mean, it did take me about, on and off, I think it took me about 10, 12 days or something to read the two of them, which for me is slower than normal, but also it was manic and I didn't read anything else in that time. So like that tells you how much my reading was all over the place. But every single time I got to sit down and pick it up, I loved every single minute of it. And the amount, pardon me, the amount of things that made me go, holy shit, or oh my God, or what the fuck. Like, I literally had so many heart-stopping moments in it that it was just like 20 to plus hours of me enjoying my time.
I think this is one of the things about these books, and I think that this is one of the reasons that the Throne of Glass books specifically are my favorite. Because don't get me wrong, I love A Court of Thorns and Roses. I love Crescent City, but these ones, I feel like the world, like, so I'm not going to give anything away, but ACOTAR is more romance heavy than fantasy heavy, and Crescent City is a completely different vibe at all.
I got my first description of ACOTAR today watching your video. It was funny.
Hey.
Because after I went, oh, is that what it's about? And then you went, I'm not going to say more because I don't know if Tori's watching this. And I was like, yes, I am. Hi.
I mean, it probably would be. Just yeah. But yeah, so like, there's not. I love ACOTAR, but it's never going to be as good as Throne of Glass.
This is amazing. Like, I have thoroughly enjoyed my last 6 months.
The amount of people who also turn around and say like ACOTAR is just so much better, and I'm like, and I think it's probably because one, I really don't like the first book. We'll get into why a bit later on. But book one, it grows on me every time I read it. But the first time I read it, it took me like months to read the first book. Most people can like binge it, but like I was struggling. But I think the Throne of Glass books are so perfectly done. Like, and I don't mean perfect, but I mean like, yeah. There is something special.
The people who prefer it just want smart.
Yeah, I think that's probably it, is the fact that like a lot of people probably want ACOTAR more because they are more romance girlies, whereas I like this was my big delve into fantasy, and this is what made me love fantasy world building and stuff like that. And I think that's probably why it's got such a special place in my heart. Like I've been reading these books since like 2014, I think, and I still continuously come back to them.
This is your poison study. Got it. Although I was saying to Andy, I haven't actually reread them recently.
I kind of want to reread them. It's been a while since I've reread them. So, though the last time I reread Poison Study, I'm not going in. We're not having a Poison Study conversation in this for very long. I wasn't as obsessed with it as when I had first read it, so I'm a little bit concerned about going into them. But I will reread at some point. Maybe soon. Anyway, so we always like to do this at the end of them.
Oh, there's only one left to go. I don't even
There's
have
only
the
one
ability
left
to
to
finish
go.
too many fucking to come now. Crap.
Okay,
I haven't read
so
the back of it. I would, as always, I have not read the back of it. I know nothing other than where these books left.
to be fair, I don't think there is a lot on the back of this book, but basically, Tori, how do you think this is going to end? I don't even need to say where do you think this is going to go. I can say, how do you think this is going to end?
How were we at the end already?
To be fair though, this has been like so long in the making.
There's 7 out of 8 books in already.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm not ready, Emma. I also really random, but I wish I'd done what you did and put them up the way. Because now they're just a pest. But I don't want to take them out in case I ever decide to tandem read, because I'm not doing that to myself again, ever.
Just turn them up. Or next, if you decide to tandem read them again, just turn them up as you read it.
Yeah, or even just read it in general.
Yes.
Right.
Wait, I've got to get my game face on.
You always have a game face.
Do you say I always have a gay face?
I mean, no, I didn't, but yeah, sure. I said game. You always have a game face on.
It sounded like you said gay. I'm not mad at it.
It's not a lie, but also not what I said.
Anyway.
Right? So we know that Rowan is on his way to find Maeve and get Aelin. So I really like him to kill Cairn for me in the process of getting Aelin back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they can kill Maeve on their way out, even better. But I have a feeling that she's going to get thrown through a portal, because that's obviously what we're gearing up to, like opening a portal and that being a thing. So as long as she's gone by the end, I'll take that as a win. Ideally, without Aelin dying, would be my absolute hope. I don't know if I trust Maas to give me that ending, because she killed Nehemia and others. But, I mean, I can hope. My hope is like most other things, something happens to make it inevitably not happen. Yeah. Lysandra obviously needs to meet her uncle, because they are on this side and they're on this side.
But likely, because we're getting an army from them
to do this. We didn't really see much of what Dorian was up to.
I mean, we kind of did. He was just kind of tagging along with Aelin.
Yeah, I kind of hope, though, that there's some form of like battle plan happening in the background, that he's also going to bring more troops in. Planning. I can't wait to see what happens with the witches, because I genuinely think that they will pull Crockens out of everywhere, and they will go and find any witch that is not like good enough to be in like the packs. Like, part of me feels like if they've got a black beak Crocken like leader, that them then going to all of the clans who have maybe been like thrown out or whatever, they might be able to like make more of a cross breed army. I don't know what you would call it when it's all of the races in one. Like, just, we don't care what race you are, just come and fight for us type equivalent. I cannot fucking wait to see what the assassins and the pirates are going to do, because I am so excited to see them back. Like, you saw me when we did the short stories. I was like, these guys are going to be fun. And I'm so excited. I really just need Maeve to die. Okay? I just need Maeve to die. And I need Manon's grandmother to die. And I need Manon and Dorian to be king and queen together of this amazing, magical, witchy land. Because he has magic and she is a witch. And just put them together for me.
So you just want everyone to have a happy ever after, and the witches to
No,
live in
I don't really
harmony.
need everyone. I just need Manon and Dorian and no Maeve.
So
I
you
have a
just
feeling half of the elves are gonna, like, the Fae are gonna die. Elves? No, not elves. I think half of the Fae are gonna die. I don't believe that all of the boys are gonna come out of this alive, unfortunately. Somebody's gonna end up with a serious affliction that they can't heal by magic. Although they do have, I know they have Irene on hand, but there's gonna be something that happens. I am glad they've got Irene though, because at least they've got a fucking healer now. They didn't have one to start with. I have a feeling that Adian's dad, I'm going to call it that it'll be Adian's dad that dies before they get a proper resolution.
okay.
They'll start to come around and they'll start to think they're going to talk, and then a battle will happen and some shit will go down. Because I feel like it would be the most meaningful one of the pack to die. Not that I want any of them to. In an amazing world, none of them will die.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we're going to get that. Lisa, if you're still here, what do you think? Because you also have not read them.
We only have 2 viewers, and I know that Emma and Becca have been chatting, so I think Lisa's
so Lisa will have gone then.
disappeared.
How dare she?
I mean, she's allowed. We do ramble.
It just means that I have to say everything I think, and you three can't comment. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Like, I'm trying to go through like all the main characters in my head and think if there's like anything.
Aladdin Lorcan.
I really hope that they manage to like keep it together. I think they will. Hopefully,
they fought at the end, and she was like, "You are not." I
know, but I don't think she means it. She might though, but I don't think she does. I think she was just angry. A lot of them were angry for very obvious reasons, especially since Alid at that point didn't know Manon had the stones.
Adian and Lysandra. Sorry, I've just interrupted you there.
No, that's okay. Lysandra's a fucking badass, man. Like,
there's a lot going on at the end though, because obviously she's now pretending to be Ellen. What do you think happened to them?
The fact that she was, what was it? Do you expect me to have kids with my cousin or something along that lines? Like, she can't be with him and publicly be with Rowan. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, unless they have a throuple, but I don't see Fae warriors doing that when they've got heartmates involved. Like, it just doesn't. So,
but it's also a way to be able to be like, hey, look, your child is your child.
I know, but don't.
It's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking.
I am not ready. I genuinely kind of want to do a live show for the length of time it takes me to read it.
I would say I'm down. However, April's ridiculously busy for me.
Yeah, I'm not waiting till April to do it. So
yeah, I was about to say we're going to be having the live show in April.
I actually don't know when I'm reading it. It may be a this weekend thing. I don't know. Lisa is running sprints on Saturday, so I may just read it then. Are you on sprints on Saturday?
I don't know. Probably not, because anyway. Fair. Any other thoughts, feelings, final words?
I don't trust Maas.
Wise decision.
I didn't trust Schwab either when I was doing the Schwab-along ones. But that was worse because that was more series. So every time I got addicted and like met new characters, I didn't trust her with any of them.
Yeah, I'm probably like, it depends because I'm currently reading this chunk. So it depends on how much I get rid of this, because I'm only reading this physically because I realized I don't like the audiobook of the first one, so I'm going to read this physically. So it depends on how much I get through this and how much I need a break from this, because this is going to kill me. And then I have to read Kingdom of Ash, and those are the only books that are left on my TBR. It is the 18th of March, and I am almost finished every single book on my TBR. And
I am so not.
I've read like 13 or 14 books in March. I don't read this much. What is going on?
I mean, I've read a decent amount. It's just my TBR pile was ridiculous. I'm in the middle of, well, I've started Kane Chronicles, but it's actually only about 6 hours long, so it shouldn't take me that long. And then I've got manga to read. I want to finish. The editors call it Wickdiv, which I find hilarious, but Wicked and the Divine. I've got them to finish.
Yes.
I've got one more to reread, and then I've got 6 to 9 to read for the first time.
I want opinions because I love that series.
I have reread the first 4 already this month, and I am loving them.
That is so good.
And then I've literally got Kingdom of Ash and the Raven Boys to finish. It's like, it sounds like a lot, but it's manga, graphic novels, other than 3 books.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Everyone's better than mine.
You gotta do what you gotta do, and I hope you're all right, and you know where we are. And life happens. It's one of those things. I think, to be fair, the reason that I read so much in the first day, because I read like 6 things, was because I needed to get away from life because mental health. So totally appreciate it, and you deal how you got to deal, and that is totally understandable. And we love you.
I fell down one. Oh, that failed, Tori. What the hell is that? I fell down One Piece anime when mine sky plummeted. Wow, plummeted.
And I think that's time that we go. I think that is Tori's brain shutting off before going back to work tomorrow.
I don't want to go back to work tomorrow.
Valid. You have to, though.
I really do. I haven't been there since last Tuesday.
Anyway, we're gonna sign off then. Thank you, anyone who joined and anyone who came and went, and those who stayed for the entire thing. We appreciate it very much, and I can't wait to talk about the final book in this series. How are we here already?
I don't know. I'm not ready.
Anyway, bye guys.
Bye.